Hey, how's it going? Anyway, so I decided to buy the Bullworker Bible. Now, unfortunately, the Amazon driver decided to leave it in between two bins outside on one of the rainiest days of the year. I didn't get home from my late shift until 10:30 at night, so it got very wet. So it's a little bit worse for wear, so I'll be sending it back. But before I sent it back, I thought, why not review it first? Because I'm sure there's a lot of you with Bullworkers out there, or are intending to get a Bullworker, have thought about buying this Bullworker Bible, and is it worth the 17.5 quid that I paid for it? So what I'm going to do is give it what I called a shit sandwich review. Okay, a lot of you may have had them off your bosses, where they give you a positive, they give you the positive first, then tell you all the negatives, then finish off on the positives. It's an old manager's tactic, that ain't. Okay. So what did I think of it? So I particularly liked where it talks about the history of the Bullworker, especially, you know, it started from 1912 with Arthur A. Pond's device right up to the modern classic and steel bow. So you can go through, it goes through the tensilator and how they were made and the drawings to the classic. Also covers the X5, the X7, the Bully Extreme, and the ISO 7X. The book also talks about Hooke's law of elasticity. Basically, it's the greater the compression, the more the opposing force on the spring. It's kind of along the lines of Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So if you push the Bullworker with 10 kilograms of force, you're going to get 10 kilograms of force pushing back at you. So you're getting 20 kilograms in essence. The book also covers quite a lot of things, going from the basic types of resistance exercise, isometric overview, isometric exercise science. Now, one thing I did like about this, that excerpt there, was the fact that doing 7 to 10 seconds of isometric exercise is the same as doing 3 sets of 10 of resistance training. Basically, it goes on how much force is generated in the maximum contraction. So it measured that against isometric training, and it turns out that 7 seconds of isometric exercise is the same of doing 3 sets of 10 of concentric curls or concentric any exercise. So that's why isometric works. Now, I didn't know that before, so I learned something new there. It also goes on to do what standard isometric contraction, workout intensity, how does a muscle grow, rest time between exercises, dynamic flexation. I think they just made up that word, flexation. I've seen dynamic flexion, but not dynamic flexation. Talks about blood pressure and isometric exercises, rest and recovery, adequate nutrition, and strength, stamina, endurance, and resilience. So the book covers a lot, and then it goes on to do some exercises you can do with the X5, and then a pile of exercises then for the Bullworker Classic. So what are the good parts? Okay, so the first one, I did think that some of the pictures showing the exercises were a little bit grainy and a little bit blurry. I was like, why are they so blurred? Is it to try and make the woman look better, or was it just they were using a bad camera? It's just an odd way that, you know, you can still clearly see the pictures of the exercise, but I don't understand why they're so grainy. So that was like, meh, I don't know. Also, this book is very focused on the new versions of the Bullworker. For instance, there were, I think, 7 pages dedicated to the X5 and over 60 pages dedicated to the Bullworker Classic. So this book is very focused in getting you drawn towards buying a new model. For example, they've put some descriptions of the older Bullworkers. So they said the 1970s Bullworker is a good Bullworker, but they're getting on a bit in years now, so it's very hard to get a good one. And if you do get one, it may be rusty, and if you do oil it, you'll have rust coming out of it. It may be a bit creaky and whatever, the spring's making a noise. I've got a 1970s version. I oiled it, cleaned it up, it works fine. So I don't know about that one. With the X5, now this is a weird one with the X5. So in the book it says that the X5 was made to give a better range of movement and be more versatile. So range of movement, ROM. Now, and in the book, what he says is that in the outer range, so I'll just get a Bullworker, hang on. So here we are, in the outer range, so you've got the inner range here, which is this one, okay, then the outer range, and because of the pulley system, when you use pulleys, it decreases the force. So when a pulley's involved here, like now, there's a pulley in here, okay, this goes over the pulley there, and he says that, well, that's the disadvantage of using this Bullworker, this X5, because there's literally no resistance. Well, so if you read the book and you were like, you've never used one of these, you go, oh, I'm not getting one of them. I'm not getting an X5, I'll get the new one, I'll spend the 200 quid to get a new one. I own an X5 and I can tell you with absolute certainty that there is resistance in the outer range. Just so example, right? I'll try and do it in the chair here. So let's get my marker, right? Now I can pull that here as far as I can go, and I can get it down to about 45, the power meter. So I go to the outside then. Okay, now I'm going to try and pull it a bit further so I can get it down to 50 on the outer. So, and that's understandable because you're going to get a little bit more help from the pulley system. But did it look like there was no resistance for me there? He clearly states there's no resistance there. It's pointless doing it. Hello? Right, let me just show you again. Yeah, that's no resistance, isn't it? What's he talking about? That's nonsense. I don't believe that for a second. And I think so what the book is trying to do is trying to put you off buying the older models second-hand for cheap and steering you towards the newer models. Look, by no means am I saying the new models are rubbish. The new models are very well made and they probably use better materials. But to say that these older ones, I don't get them because of this and that, putting little, little caveats into buying them, is a little trick to get you, I won't get an older one, I'll get a new one. That's exactly what it is. And I didn't like that, saying there was no resistance when it clearly is. Another odd thing was some of the exercises shown, especially the one shown in the X5 demonstration or the X5 sort of explanations. It's almost as if they were trying to make out that the X5 is a bit rubbish. I wonder why. Okay. So this one's called the cylinder grip chest press. And what they want you to do, according to the description and the pictures, is to have your arms at a right angle here, okay, back here, exactly like that, with the upper arm parallel to the floor, okay, and then want you to push in then like this, okay. Now, it may look okay on the face of it, but you've got to remember what the chest muscle's purpose is. The chest muscle is to draw the upper arm into the chest. If you do a fly or a chest press, can you see what's happening to my upper arm? It's bringing it in. If I'm here, how is the chest muscles working there? If you don't believe me, try it out for yourself. All right, have a look at this. So get a side of the wall, put your one arm like this, the position they want you in the Bullworker. So right angle, parallel to the floor, and then push against that wall, okay? So push against the wall and then feel your chest muscle. Push and push, push, push. There's hardly any activation in my chest. Nothing, okay? It's a little bit at the top here, but not much. But all you've got to do is come back a little bit, like that. So rather than here, you go there. Now you're going to get more chest muscle activation. And again, try it out for yourself. So rather than do this, come back a little bit. So bring the arm out so there's just a bit of a bend in the arm there. And now push and then feel the chest. Now my whole chest is activated. I just thought I'd add this in here. After I made the video, I looked at the Bullworker wall chart, and the way they've shown to do that chest exercise with the arm like this, okay, and in like that, the right angle, is how it's shown on the Bullworker wall chart. So maybe it's not their fault, they just copied it directly from what Bullworker had said back in the day. But I actually stand by what I said. That's not working the chest very well. On the wall chart, it says it's for upper chest. But really, when you feel the chest, just try it out for yourself, what I showed you. It's hardly activating any chest at all. If you want to work the upper chest, all you do is have it in the same position, but just bring the arm out. As long as you're doing a little bit up a little bit, that's fine. So I stand by what I said, but I will have to say this, it wasn't completely their fault. They just took it from the Bullworker workout manual or the workout wall chart. They also talk about in the book the 30 to 60 minute window directly after training, where you should eat some protein and carbohydrate because the muscles can absorb more protein or something like that. They used to call it the window of opportunity. I was being taught that back in the 90s. It's debunked gym bro science. Sorry, it really is. Look, it's important to stay hydrated during your workout, but this magic window for you to get your proteins in or your carbs in directly after, well, you know, unless you've been running a marathon, you need to get your glycogen levels back up again with some carbohydrate. After a Bullworker session or weight training session, there's no really need. As long as you get your adequate calories and protein, carbohydrate throughout the day, your macro, micronutrients, the window of opportunity doesn't matter. The only time I would say you probably might need it, and again, you might, okay, is if you've been fasting and you have a fasted workout in the morning, and then maybe it might be a good idea to have some protein. But there's no magic window of 30 to 60 minutes. It's completely debunked science. So, I mean, this book was written in 2017, I think, or published in 2017. This 30 to 60 minute window has been debunked for a long time, so I'm not sure why that's in there. Anyway, so what's my conclusion? Well, even though some parts of the book made me go, eh? Okay, I did learn a few things from it. Now, I've been in the fitness industry since the mid-1990s. So how many years is that? 25, 26, 27 years. I'm a qualified fitness instructor, personal trainer, cardiac rehabilitation specialist. Okay, so I know also advanced nutrition. Don't forget that as well. Got to get that in there, haven't I? So I kind of do know my stuff, but for the main part, most trainers out there, when we're taught and we're trained, we don't really focus a lot on isometrics. It is taught, it is gone over, but normally when you're in the gym and you're training people, it's normally concentric and eccentric exercise. That's the main focus, not so much isometrics. So there was some things in this book that I did pick up, and I did learn something new from it. So overall, it's a pretty decent book with a couple of caveats in there. Also, I should warn you, don't expect to find a workout plan in there. This is not a workout plan book, okay? This is basically telling you where the Bullworker came from, how it came about, contraction of muscles work, nutrition, all these things, how isometrics works, the science behind it, and things like that. There are some demonstrative exercises in there. It shows you pictures on how to do them, although some of them are not quite right. But there's no workout plan as such, okay? So don't expect this to be a workout plan. But I did enjoy quite a lot of the book. Like I said, I did learn a few things. So if I was to rate this on an Amazon review, I'd probably give it 3.5 stars out of 5. Anyway, have you got this book? What do you think of it? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.